The objection, to the extent it was just made, is overruled. Please proceed.
Let me give you a little more background. This would have been on January 14th of 2015, would have been telephone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just have you read this over.
Just to yourself, sir.
Just read it to yourself and tell me.
Your Honor, you'll probably get laid for that.
About to lay that by me, look at it.
Well, you need to first ask him questions.
I wanted to look at it and tell me whether that he recalls that as being the content of the interview.
You need to ask him, if you're trying to ask him to refresh his recollection, you need to ask him questions first.
I'm not refreshing his recollection. I'm asking if you recall the interview and if this is a fair and accurate summary of that interview. There's no.
Let's break it into two questions. You can certainly ask him if he recalls the interview.
I did that. He said yes.
He recalls the gentleman. I don't know whether he recalls the interview. Second question is whether that is an accurate summary of it. I guess theoretically you could ask him that.
I just wanted to read it. Right now I'm just asking to read it.
I understand. Read it to yourself.
Read it to yourself.
That's over my objection.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Is that a fair summary of your conversation with Dr. Gold?
The first paragraph is.
I didn't agree.
The first paragraph is.
The first paragraph.
Yes.
How about the other five?
I don't remember.
Pardon?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No. Because our conversation was like 2 minutes. So I don't think we talked about all that.
Well, what was the purpose for his call to you, as you understood it?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation. It's not relevant.
As he understood it, he can answer the question.
Relevance, Your Honor?
As he understood it, he may answer the question.
What was the purpose of his telephone interview with you, as you understood it?
I don't know.
Well, did he just call you out of the blue? Did someone
Yeah.
tell you he was going to be calling?
Overruled.
Yeah, he just called me out of the blue.
Where were you when he called you?
I was headed to work.
At work.
Yes.
Who did he say he was?
I don't remember.
Overruled.
You don't remember?
No. It was out of the blue.
Okay. And why did he say he was calling?
They asked me questions.
About
Bessman.
what part of Bessman? What aspect of Bessman?
Our life.
His life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was asking me about my life. But
Your
he called-
life?
Yeah.
But you understood he was calling you because he was working on Bessman's case.
I don't know. He just called me.
Judge, I have to be allowed.
Overruled. That question was not asked.
Now, do you recall during that conversation, in reference to your stepfather Sinclair, of telling Dr. Gold that you did not know of Sinclair having a drinking problem? Since you've known him, you didn't know him to have a drinking problem.
I was talking about alcohol, but then they would ask me, well, what about beer? I say, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, that's the same thing as alcohol. That's what I was talking about.
But did you tell him that your stepfather did not have a drinking problem?
With alcohol like vodka, yes. Not with beer.
So your recollection of your conversation with Dr. Gold is that you told him he did have a drinking problem with beer, but not with alcohol.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Okay.
It was a 2-minute conversation.
Okay. Would it have been a 2-minute conversation or more like a 15-minute conversation?
I don't remember. It was real short and sweet because I was headed to work.
Okay. Now, in that conversation, did you tell Dr. Gold anything about the regular beatings that you've told us here today?
I don't remember.
Did you tell him anything about the sad story about the presence and the defendant sitting in the corner trying to be brave while he didn't get any presents? Did you tell him that story?
I don't remember.
Did you tell him any story about there being no food in the house?
I don't remember.
Who have you spoken to since January 14th of 2015 about your potential testimony here in this case?
Who have I spoken to about my potential testimony in
Yeah.
this case?
Yeah.
The lawyers.
Okay, have you, I apologize for forgetting her name. The young lady with the blonde hair, have you spoken to her?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to speaking to them, after speaking to Dr. Gold, and you don't know if you mentioned it or not, to today, how did these revelations about the beatings and the not getting presents and the no food come to light?
It happened to me. I don't understand that question.
Well, you didn't mention it to Dr. Gold.
Oh, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Okay, not necessarily. You have conversations with the lawyers, and today you come in and tell us a very compelling story. And I just want, if you can help us at all about what happened between your conversation with Dr. Gold and now.
Well, the conversation I had with them was like an hour conversation. The one I had with them was like a 2-minute conversation. So of course everything wouldn't have got out.
Okay. So if it's not in Dr. Gold's interviews, because he didn't try to elicit it from you.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Sustained.
All that being said, one other thing. You did not actually go to school with Mr. Okafor, did you?
Elementary.
Elementary. But beyond that, you're 4 years apart, so
Yes.
you went to, so you would have gone to elementary school with him for 2 years, first grade and second grade, right? He was in 5th and 6th?
I suppose.
Okay. So as far as how Mr. Okafor was treated in middle school or high school, you really have no idea because you weren't there.
No.
You assume that because you were treated a certain way, he was too.
No.
No?
No.
Well, you answered questions to Mr. Inako about how he was treated at school because of his clothes, because of his shoes, but you weren't there. So that's why I'm wanting the jury to understand more what the basis
Well, everybody in the neighborhood everybody from school lived in the same neighborhood, so the people at his school was in the neighborhood still picking on him.
Do you recall making a comment to Dr. Gold in reference to Bessman that he was just another brother, he didn't have much impact on me, he got into a lot of trouble, I didn't get into much trouble?
No.
You don't recall saying that?
No.
Is that an accurate statement?
No.
Which part's inaccurate?
If you repeat the paragraph?
Yeah, it is, let me make sure I get it right. He was just another brother, he didn't have much of an impact on me, he got into a lot of trouble, I didn't get into much trouble.
And what's your question?
You said some part of that was not correct. What part was not correct?
All of it.
So, did you get into a lot of trouble?
No.
Okay, so that part is correct. You didn't get into much trouble, right?
I didn't get in a lot of trouble.
Okay. The other one was he, meaning the defendant, did get into a lot of trouble. Is that true?
Yeah, he got into a lot of trouble.
He got in a lot of trouble. Okay. That Bessman didn't have much impact on you. Is that
Your Honor, I'm going to object, and you approach again.
Legal objection.
Legal objection is that he is trying to use the doctor's rough notes and not his final report.
Legal objection. That's not a legal objection. Thank you. Please approach. Please proceed.
Mr. James, have you ever been arrested?
Yes.
Have you ever been to prison?
No.
You ever committed a felony?
No.
How have you were raised in the same house as Bessman Okafor, isn't that correct?
Correct.
Was your mother a bad person?
I would say she was till the time I was about 14.
Okay. Why?
She would whoop us a lot. You know,
For-
she had 7 kids, and she was trying to raise us on our own, and I guess it was a lot of stress and frustration,
What would she whoop you for?
everything.
Well, I mean, would she whoop you for her own enjoyment or because you had done something?
I don't know. We just got whoopings.
You don't remember whether the punishments were for doing something wrong?
Not from whoopings. We got whoopings for no reason.
For no reason?
Yeah.
She just grab you, take you in a room, and
Yes.
just for no reason?
Yes.
You're a web designer today, correct?
Yes.
Are you married?
No.
You have any kids?
No.
Where do you, is that your full-time job, or do you have a
Full time.
full-time job?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. Nothing further.
Redirect.
Are you telling the truth today, Trenton?
Yes.
Action, self-serving.
Sustained. Strike.
Has anyone told you to lie in court?
No.
Have I told you to lie?
No.
Has Ms. McDermott?
No.
Do you even know why your testimony is important in this case?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What do you understand is the importance of it?
What I understand is that well, basically he's on trial for the death penalty. So
Let me ask it this way. Do you know what particular things that might help him and might not? I mean, are you testifying
Objection.
in any particular
Compound
way
question.
to help him?
2 questions.
Sustained. It sounds like 2 questions in one.
Okay.
Okay. Restate, please.
Oh, that's all right. Let me ask it. Did you see your brother get beaten?
yes.
You actually saw that yourself?
Yeah, I saw myself.
Over and over and over again?
Yes.
Over the years?
Yes.
And you yourself got beaten as well?
Yes.
And all your siblings?
Yes.
Who got it worst?
Bessman.
Asked and answered. Overruled.
Who got it worst?
Bessman.
And you actually saw scars on him,
Yes.
on his back?
Objection. Asked and answered beyond the scope of cross.
It is beyond the scope. Sustained.
Let me ask you about Trevor Sinclair and whether he had a drinking problem. When you were asked, did he have a drinking problem, what was your answer?
It was no.
And what did you think of when you answered that?
I thought you guys were talking about hard liquor,
Okay.
like vodka or Ciroc or something like that.
And what did you actually see as far as Trevor Sinclair drinking?
Beer.
You did you consider that to be a drinking problem?
No.
How often did you see him with beer?
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day?
Beer, yes.
Okay. So it's simply, am I correct in understanding then that you just don't think of that as a drinking problem?
I personally don't.
Okay. Are you happy about being here, saying bad things about your mother?
No, I'm not.
Were you reluctant to do so?
Yes.
In fact, you were worried about her being in the courtroom.
Yes.
Now, is that because you didn't want to lie in front of her?
Objection, self-serving and hearsay. Bolstering, I'm sorry, I meant bolstering.
Sustained.
I think counsel opened the door to this.
Sustained as to the second part of bolstering.
That's all I have. I would like to, no, that's all I have. Thank you, Ron.
Do you have something that's come up?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
I want to get this issue of whether drinking means just alcohol or beer. On direct examination 15 minutes ago, counsel asked you, have you seen your stepfather drink? And you said yes. At what point did that word go from hard liquor to beer? The same question he asked.
He was asking me about the conversation we had yesterday.
Oh, so when you talked yesterday, then the clarification came up that the drinking problem...
Alcohol came up.
I see. Now, Mr. James, you want to help your brother, don't you?
I'm just up here telling the truth.
You know that making your childhood look as bad as possible will help your brother, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm just telling the truth about what happened. You asked me questions, I'm answering.
Like you did with Dr. Gold.
I don't recall that conversation. It was a 2-minute conversation.
No further questions.
Sir, you may step down. Thank you so much. Mr. Nako, I'm going to give the jury a break. They've been in for about an hour, 15 minutes. Folks, we're going to go ahead and give you about a 15-minute break. Please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves. Do not do any research. It will be about 15 minutes. If you need more time, when Jeff comes back in there, let him know. Leave your pads on their chairs. And again, keep an open mind, please.
All rise for executive.
Folks, we'll be in recess for 15 minutes. Mr. Knocker, will you make sure the deputy knows